Coming up next, we have Mr. Calvin Lopez, who is Flatware selling extraordinaire. Calvin's created a lot of things. Good at ultimate upgrades, good at selling packages, good at selling sets, just closes something. You know, just I love that Calvin just calls people out when they're like, yeah, I'm just going to wait. And he's like, why? That's dumb. Some of those things Chelsea was talking about, like, yeah, sometimes it's awkward to say things like that to customers, but Calvin has that rapport and Calvin has that belief and that product conviction. So he sells Flatware, though, super effectively, in my opinion. I love listening to him go through his approach. So we're going to have Calvin go through that for us next.
The reason I sell it so much, though, is because I think it's amazing. I think it's easy. I think every customer should have it. I think that it's simple. It's one of our easiest $1,000 orders that we can get. It's a quick one. It takes a minute to get a customer excited about it. And then, I don't know, they should always buy it. That is 100% my belief. 90% of the time, once I start to talk to them about it, they literally end up buying it. And it's awesome. And I'm excited. They're excited. We all celebrate. And then they buy more stuff. And it's a great time. I keep it super simple. I don't over exaggerate it. I don't talk about a bunch of stuff that doesn't really matter. I've listened to Curtis over the years. I've listened to Brandon, to Jason, and I just kind of took everything that I thought was the best about it, and I just kind of put it together in a quick little script. I'll go over it really quickly, and then I'll kind of tell you why I do it that way. Basically, the way it goes, like, hey, just so you know, Mrs. Jones, we do have a new program that you really need to utilize. It's actually one of Cutco's best kept secrets because it's our biggest corporate discounted package here at the fair. It's actually our Forever Flatware. If there's any interest, or like, if they peek up at all, or if they have anything, or if they bring it up, then I just kind of go right into the rest of it. I say, like, all right, Mrs. Jones, so you already know it's expensive because it's Cutco. So the retail price is actually $24.82. I love it because it's that perfect weight. That's where it's not too heavy, not too light. So it feels good in the hand, but it's not going to knock the food off the plate. It's 1810 stainless. It's dishwasher safe. And it also has that diamond pattern because diamonds last forever. One of my favorite things about it is that I use it for everyday stuff, but it's still nice enough to put out whenever I have people over. And the best part about it is it has that forever guarantee, just like everything else that Cutco makes, and the big discount on it. So it's actually on sale right now for only $16.67. Which is literally over $800 off the retail price, plus those other two knives that you were kind of looking at right now. One of the great things that they're letting us get away with here at the fair is we can actually throw those in for free with it. And then most people, they actually just split it up over our easy pay option. So all you're actually paying today is $364, and that literally gives you all 60 pieces. So it's 12 full plate settings. You get the matching serving set included, and those two knives that you were just looking at. So did you want to go ahead and do that all at once, or did you just want to do it on our easy pay option? And literally, that's it. Like one of the biggest things, I think, I remember Curtis saying this at one of our meetings a year ago or 2 years ago, is hitting all those pain points that customers have problems with their flatware and just handling all those objections early on. So everything I know that they're probably going to say back to me, I'm trying to say it beforehand. The reason I talk about the weight is because what I've noticed is as soon as I start to talk about the flatware, like the reason I bring that up first, they always go to pick it up right then and there. So the first thing I want them to hear me say is how it has that perfect weight where it's not too heavy, it's not too light, it feels good in the hand. So that's already in their head that when they pick it up, it's not going to be what they think they're used to, but exactly what they want it to be. I used to say it's garbage disposal safe, but Cutco asked us not to anymore, so I didn't put that in there. But the reality is it's super short, but it's super simple. I get excited about it. Whenever I do bring up the discounted price, I will kind of start to lean in. And I'll have the customer kind of lean in with me, and I'll really whisper the discounted price. Like I'll look around to make sure no one's listening to me, make it a really big deal, to let them know, like, hey, literally you're saving over $800 off the retail price. And honestly, if you add in that other item that you're looking at that I'm giving you for free with it, it's literally like you're saving $1,000 right now buying this versus buying it later on for the full retail price. And then it's very simple, short and to the point. I know they said I have like 20 minutes to talk about it, but that's the reality of it. That's literally all I do. Like I hit the pain points, I get really excited about it, and then when I hit them with I let that retail price hang out there while I talk about everything else about it that makes it really great. And then I lean in, I hit them with that discounted price, and then I go for the close. Like,
can I ask you a follow-up question, Calvin? What if they say no? What's when they object? What is your strategy from there?
So if they say no to that initially, I always just ask them, like, okay, no problem. Hey, I totally understand. Is it something like you think you're going to end up getting later, or is it just something you're not interested in? And if they're like, oh, well, I think I'm just going to get it later. Like, okay, I tell you what if I went ahead and I took a few $100s off of the price? Like it's basically me taking a part out of my commission. but I went ahead and I got you that price. I went ahead and knocked it down to where it's only $13.99. And literally, that's where it's $1,000 off the retail price before we talk about anything else. That brings your payment down to where it's only $306 today, and that's tax and everything included. Literally, it's the craziest deal you're going to get on Cutco. Like, would that make it an easier decision for you?
Just like one or two things I wanted to throw in. Like Calvin has this sort of very, I always say it's very assumptive close, but it's very positive. Like I mean, he just says things. I think it's kind of like Chelsea, where it's one part rapport and it's one part confidence. But I mean, like every past customer he sees, I will literally see him go, "Hey, is this the day you finally get your flatware? Like, you got to get it. You're getting it eventually. Like, is this the day we do it?" Like he says it over and over. And I was working a show with them earlier this year, and the customer goes, "We bought it from you last year." And he goes, "Right. Is this where you get the rest of it?" And it was just like, but it's that just perfectly like confidently assumptive attitude of like, you're going to have this, you're going to need it. So, the thing I would just ask Calvin is like, any thoughts on how you transition to flatware? Because I've seen you do a lot of packages. Like flatware, I think is the easiest, bridging point between like a set to a kitchen as an example. Like, do you have any thoughts on like verbiage you use or lines you use or interest phrasing after you've closed them on a set to really introduce the flatware when sometimes the customer mentally feels spent and you kind of have to get them back to that point?
No, I mean, a lot of it, honestly, I can't think of anything better than what Curtis said on the last call, which is kind of why I used it in my intro here, just where it's literally, like, just so you know, we have that new program that you really need to utilize, like that verbiage Curtis used last week was just amazing. And then I just bring it up like kind of the way Matt said it as well. It's actually one of Cutco's best kept secrets because it's our biggest corporate discounted package here at whatever event we're at today. It just makes it to where it piques their interest where they want to know what it is. Because a lot of the time I would kind of just, hey, so when are you going to buy your flatware? Or did you want to go ahead and add that on right now? And if there's anything of, oh, Cutco makes flatware, or well, tell me about it, then I'll just kind of lean in right into that same approach. It's one of those things that takes 60 seconds to say it, but I get super excited about it. And then I ask them if they want to buy it in full or if they want to split it up or if they're going to add it on, just like whatever it is, like it's the same thing every time.
I have another thing. That is awesome. Also, I love the line that people have already been posting in the sidebar here. Is it something you're going to do someday down the road or something you're just not interested in? I love that really just direct, clear question. Because if they say, oh, I'm just not interested because I don't like the pattern or whatever, it just brings that, whatever it is, right to the surface. Or they just say like, oh, no, someday, we just don't really need it right now. And then you can handle it with the extra price discount. So I love that. Right. My question is somebody who doesn't, Marissa asked this also, if somebody doesn't have Cutco, doesn't know about Cutco, they just walk up and the flatware is the first thing they look at. How do you change your approach or how do you build more value in Cutco as a whole? What do you say differently with those people?
So, I mean, I have a ton of customers who the first thing they've ever bought from me is the flatware, not just like they bought the knives first, like they started with the flatware. I'll just do the same intro, like, hey, the great thing about Cutco, I go over all the highlights, guaranteed forever, been around since the 1940s, just the normal basic intro. And then I kind of let them know, like, hey, all those same things apply to our flatware. And then I kind of go into the same approach. I do utilize a couple of knives to go with it. I'm like, one of the best things about it is if you're a new customer and this is your first time purchasing with us and flatware is the really big ticket item for you, what Cutco allows us to do is they let us actually throw in a couple of these key specific pieces. These are our most bought ones. And I'll normally give them like a promo paring knife and a promo trimmer to go with it. So that way it gets you started on your kitchen knives as well. Because once you use your flatware in these two pieces, literally you're never going to want to use anything else. And it just kind of gives them that extra, like, oh, wow. I'm like, yeah, this is normally an extra $140 right here. But again, since it's your first time purchasing Cutco, they're allowing me to give you that for free.